Welcome into the Sports Objective Podcast, our 23rd 50 Pirates and 50-day interview. Very excited this morning to be catching up with former East Carolina offensive lineman Quincy McKinney. And before we welcome Quincy into the show, I'd like to welcome in my co-host, Kyle from LaGrange Barber. Kyle, how are you this morning?
What's going on, Bubba? It's a good morning in the East.
Jay Sonhoff here in the Raleigh area. How are you, buddy?
My guys, I'm good. Happy Friday.
Doing well. It's already here about 80 degrees in Kannapolis. I am at Atrium Health Ballpark. I'm broadcasting from the new Kannapolis Cannonball Stadium. But like I said, we're catching up with Quincy McKinney. Quincy, welcome into the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm glad to have you on. I look forward to taking a look at your East Carolina career, which was in 2014 and 2015. I know you were originally from Columbus, Georgia. So just talk about your recruitment and your high school career and everything before you ended up going to Fork Union Military Academy.
Okay. Well, Columbus Carver is like a powerhouse in Georgia. We're a 3A school. Well, now 4A, but when I played, we were 3A. So we were always consistently good. I was a 2-year starter. Came off of about 15, 16 offers. Wound up signing to South Carolina. I played with Isaiah Crowell. So that was our top dog. He was the number one running back that year. So it made my life easier when it came to recruiting and playing. Just get in front of a guy, that's a touchdown. That's how easy it was. But I wound up signing with South Carolina, the Gamecocks. Got in a little bit of eligibility issues, so they sent me to Fork Union, and I spent a semester there. So that was a doozy.
So before going to Fork Union, taking a look at your recruitment with the Gamecocks, tell us, obviously, which position coach it was, and then also what Coach Spurrier was like on the recruiting trail.
Oh, he was full of energy, man. He was one of the most unique guys that I definitely spent time with. He was really energetic, and the love of the game and intelligence he had was just top tier. They wanted me to play guard. I was a tackle in high school, but I'm not the tallest guy. I was only right under 6'4", so I'm more of a guard center height. So they wanted me to play guard, but that's a beautiful campus too, man. But that's for them.
So coming out of Fork Union, I know NC State got in on you, and then several other big name programs. So talk about that process before you ended up at Hutchinson.
Yeah, my recruitment for South Carolina, because they wound up signing, because I'm still at Fork Union. And they actually signed like 5 O-linemen in my class. So I guess they over-recruited for that position. And so I'm just on campus in Fork Union, Virginia, just in limbo. Didn't know what I was doing or whatever. And I got a few calls from a guy that just helped recruiting kind of in my high school. And he told me, hey, NC State wanted you. South Florida's interested in you. I was born and raised in New Jersey, actually. So Rutgers found that out. So they reached out to me. That's who I actually took a visit with too. I went to Rutgers, and then I went to NC State, of course. It's crazy because Rutgers doesn't, like, I don't know about now, but at the time they just didn't recruit Georgia. They always went down to Florida because of the Schiano pipeline. But they always skipped over Georgia. So I was like a rarity at the time. But I took a visit there, and that was when Schiano was still there. So I got to politic with him, and he was just upfront and honest. He was like, we really want you, and you'll definitely be playing guard with us. But once I went to NC State, it was just a match at the time.
Now things have come full circle. Greg Schiano is back at Rutgers, and not to get off on a tangent, but guys, I don't know if you can hear it playing in the background. John Denver's Country Roads. I feel like I'm at Milan Postcar Stadium up at West Virginia.
Yeah, we can hear it. We can hear it. Take me home, Country Roads.
Go ahead, Jay.
Oh no, I don't like it when they play that song up there. It's usually not good for the Pirates when they play that when we're up at West Virginia.
Yeah, we've never won there.
Yeah, hey Quincy, question just back to the Fork Union. How was it going there? I know you're there for a semester, but how was it compared to your high school in Georgia? And then what did you learn there that helped you once you got to East Carolina too? It's a different lifestyle, isn't it?
Oh, it's night and day. It's crazy because like Fork Union is probably like 30 miles, not 30 miles, but about 30 minutes away from any normal civilization. They strip you from your phone. My mom made me pack 2 suitcases worth of clothes because she was like, you never know, you might go out to a party or whatever, or just an event. So I had clothes. And I get on campus and they're like, if you have any civilian clothes, take them up to the closet. I didn't see them 2 suitcases ever again until I left.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just had my normal black and whites undergarments. They gave us our uniforms. It was just like, I wouldn't ever say jail because I haven't been there, but that's what I would say, like civilian jail. It was just, it was miserable, but when I think about it now, it's just nothing but fun memories, and I get to laugh about it. Like I know you guys heard of John Schumann. His nickname is Inhuman Schumann because he's interesting, man. I can talk about him for days. My guy, he was my math teacher, right? And he started writing with his left hand. And then as he crosses over, he switches to his right hand and it's just as even. And I'm like, who does that? You feel me? Like, no, I never seen that before. His attitude of everything. We were PGs, so that's postgraduates. And so we're the oldest guys at the program on campus. So we're looked at as the guys that should be doing the best when it comes to behavior and all that, but that didn't happen. I had a lot of guys in my building that just didn't know how to act right. Football wise though, it was a lot of competitive games. I actually played with a lot of guys that's in the league now, like Michael Thomas for the Saints. He was on my team. Cordell Jones, Jarrell Adams. So we had a few guys that actually played in the league. So we were really talented. But I'll never forget those days.
Did it teach you anything about discipline or being able to handle more adverse situations? Did you get anything from it like that?
Oh, yes, sir. Just like I said, everything was consistent. So you would do the same thing almost every day. It was a real tight schedule. In your normal life, you wouldn't have that as much, but they forced it on you. I had to wake up at 5:30, make up my bed, clean up my room every single day, just like I would do the next day. Just consistency. That's what I would say I learned from that the most. Discipline. We had to definitely shave like we were in the military. So that was new for me because I'm 17, 18 years old. I'm not worried about that as much. But we definitely had to shave and keep everything tight. If your clothes wasn't hung up the correct way, your commander would come in there and tighten you up. That's just how it was. So it was really military style, and I did appreciate that though.
So Quincy, you made your way from Fork Union to NC State, and then ended up at Hutchinson out in Kansas. So talk about that, and then your recruitment by East Carolina from Hutchinson. Obviously, Coach Ruff was going into his, fifth season in the program by 2014. And the air raid offense, it had evolved to that point, but we still threw it a lot more than we ran it. And with that being the case, as an offensive lineman, not only Coach Ruff, but whatever position coach recruited you, Brandon Jones, talk about how he sold that to you, because obviously as an offensive lineman, you're thinking about more probably run blocking coming off the football.
Okay, I'll start off with how I left NC State, and then I'll get into the rest. Well, I came in the spring of 2012. So I did spring football that year, went through summer workouts, and during the 2013 season, I was one of the few freshmen that didn't redshirt. I was second string left tackle. So that was a surprise to me because all the other schools were telling me I was going to play guard. And I wound up being second string left tackle behind Rob Chris. So I wound up traveling, and I got a lot of experience out of that. I played, I believe, 4 or 5 games, garbage time. But the fact that I was playing that early, that gave me that awareness and experience that I knew I could do this as and be successful in the field. So I played those games. Next season, O'Brien gets fired, and that was just a loop that nobody was really ready for. We had a subpar year, did make it to a bowl game, but I guess that wasn't enough for them. So then Doran came in. He embraced me with love. Like I said a little earlier, I was struggling in the classroom a little bit. So I was on the cusp of being eligible or not. So I did my best. Still wasn't enough. So they asked me, I had to leave. Went to a JUCO. That was Hutchinson in Kansas. That was another experience that I'll never forget. I was there for a year. Not to down on the Midwest or maybe just Hutchinson, but that's not me. It was just no. I wound up starting all the games at left tackle there. A few of my teammates came from NC State. It was actually 4 of us. It was like a busload of us just came over. So that was pretty cool. I felt that at home with them. It was good football. I would say they're probably one of the top JUCO conferences in the country. So we got a lot of exposure to some talented guys when we played. We went like 8-4, maybe something like that. We were ranked in the country the whole time, so that was cool. Went to a bowl game. We played a team in North Dakota, and I promise you guys, it was like playing a JV high school team at the time. It was horrible. We wound up beating them like 63-0 or something like that. It was like whatever. And then on top of that, it was -1 degrees during the game. So you gotta love it. That's that Kansas weather. It's always windy, no matter the time of the year. It's just windy. So if it's hot, it's windy. When it's cold, it's windy. And then after that, I wound up getting a lot of recruitment love coming out of Hutch. Guys always want to look for a JUCO guy to come in and start for them. And I had a busload of schools. Actually, I think I was second team all conference that year, behind a guy that wound up going to Kansas State. But I had Louisville that offered. I wound up committing to them. ECU, of course. I had Kentucky, Kansas State. NC State wanted me to come back. But how they did me, I was like, I can't trust you guys, man. That's what it was. Nah. So I wasn't feeling them. I didn't want to go back to that program. But I was actually, I committed to Louisville with Petrino. And yeah, I always get their names mixed up, even though I met them. Petrino. And right after the visit, I committed, and I just thought up and down I was going to go there. I had took my ECU visit 2 weeks beforehand. I enjoyed my time. Ruff was basically, like he said, I'm your dad. I'm that guy. And your coach and the assistant coaches are your uncles. And I appreciate that because that felt like a legit family. Other schools, they felt like a business. You're just a number sometimes, even though they try not to say that. But I felt like I could have been a part of a family. So I took some time right after that. It was like 2 days turnover. And I talked to Coach Jones, Brandon Jones. That was my O-line coach at the time. And he was just talking to me and letting me know. He was like, man, we really want you here. He thought this would be the best spot for me. And I'm not really big on like publicity and like all the glitz and glamour. I'm more of a put your head down and I want to work kind of guy. And that's what I got that vibe from ECU. Of course, I could have went to a bigger school and whatever would have happened after that. But I just felt like ECU was a better fit for me. I already had the ACC, and I seen how that was. It just didn't fit for me as well as the ECU could have. So after that, I switched, and I seen that the small platform that I had was going crazy. They were like, why would he switch from an ACC school to ECU? I just don't get it. And it was in my heart to go to ECU.
Yeah, I remember when when you flipped during your recruiting process, following on Hoist the Colors 24/7 Sports, and remember I was really excited when you flipped. Talk about Brandon Jones, if you will. I don't think he was appreciated by our fan base as much as he should have been. I thought he did a good job coaching the O-line for that particular offense.
Oh yeah, he's definitely an air raid spread kind of coach. I appreciated his style because he was technical, but he wasn't on if one step is this way, then it's wrong. He was like, if you get the job done, then that's what it is. That's if you get the job done, your main purpose is to put your body in front of the defender and let the ball carrier handle his business after that. And that's what kind of guy he was. He was real lax, but he wanted you to work. And that's kind of how I am. I'm not a uptight and just always panicking kind of guy because he trusted us during practice. We put that work in during practice. And in the games, you got to show what you did in practice. So that's what it was. He's one of my favorite coaches. I actually talk to him pretty frequently. We still keep in touch because that's me and him. That's my mentor, I would say.
Good deal.
Quincy, just a few days ago, we caught up with Robert Jones, who was finishing his East Carolina career a couple years prior to you coming in, who also played on the offensive line. And he was talking about staying in touch with Coach Jones, and he was laughing. We were talking about Coach Jones' accent and so forth. And, did you guys ever just try to get him to say certain phrases or that kind of thing?
No. The thing is, when you get him upset, his voice creaks a little bit. So if you get him upset, we know that voice creaks a little more than normal. But nah, I've been a lot, like I said, I'm from Georgia, so that the country is normal to me, but he definitely has a nice Texas accent, like for sure. But yeah, if you get him to get upset, that voice cracks a little bit like a little girl. So that's what it is.
I don't know if you want to get into this, and I may be off on this. He left going into that 15th season. Was he upset that he didn't get the offensive coordinator position?
Are you talking about Jones?
Yes.
I'm not sure about that, truthfully. I really don't know. But when he did leave the day of, he did call all of us and talk to us and just let us know that he was moving on. The situation for him was better for him and his family. So he did keep that true and that trust. If he would have left and not said anything, me and him wouldn't be talking now.
Right.
So talk about that transition, and then I'll get back to the question I had previously. But since we're on the transition, with Coach Jones leaving, we had Brad Davis coming in. He played at Oklahoma, had a nice resume himself. Talk about Coach Davis.
Davis and Jones are day and night to me. Davis is a more uptight guy, and he's really technical. His view on the game is a little different. He wants you to see the whole field, almost like a quarterback. He wants you to see how the safety is coming down. If they shift in this way, somebody else is coming this way. Like, he's really technical to the book kind of guy. And I guess that's a tribute to his mentors. That's where he is now at Arkansas with Sam Pittman. I guess that's how he was taught, and he was trying to put that on us. But I enjoyed my time with Coach Davis too. He's a realist. He definitely opened my eyes as an O-lineman, because normally O-lineman, we just look at the box. You just look at the D-lineman, the linebackers, and anything after that is whatever. But he put me in a different perspective, and he actually the one that because I coach high school ball now, And he's the one that actually opened my eyes to, hey, I might want to coach after I'm done playing.
So reverting back to that 2014 season when you were coming in, so many high expectations for the Pirates that year, coming off the second double-digit win season in program history, 10-3 in 2013, and a bowl victory. So just talk about that as you're coming into the program, having been one of the most highly touted JUCO products, period, especially on the offensive line. And, you know, you had a veteran quarterback going into his senior season like the captain, Shane Carden. So talk about just the program as a whole and where it was headed and the expectations, and then what it was like being in the huddle with Shane Carden and his leadership.
Okay. Go talk to mom. Excuse me. Go talk to mom. Here you go. Close the door for me. Thank you. That's my 3-year-old, man. Just woke up.
Hey, I understand. I have a 5-year-old as well as an 8-year-old.
Okay. They're a doozy. But like I told you, Coach Jones, well, when the guys recruit JUCO guys, they want a starter. And Jones told me that's what I would be. Day one I got on campus, they put me at the left guard spot. And I appreciated that because, of course, I want to work and earn it. But that job and what I was looking for was a job for me to lose. So that I had that spot there. Everybody embraced me really well. It was just like I thought in my visit. It was like a family vibe. Shane Carden was a boss. Never been around a quarterback that he didn't have to put on or try. Everybody just gave him that respect. When he came around, everybody just looked different, felt different, because he earned that respect. It was just when you're in the huddle with him, you know you're in good hands, literally. Everybody was more at ease. We had, even in practice, when we had reps with other guys, it just wasn't the same. When Shane walked up, it was like, okay, we're running this, and this. Let's get it. And then, of course, he's thrown to 3 future NFL wide receivers. So that made everything just even easier. You feel me? Like, we, like, you know, we threw the ball so much. And to comment on your statement earlier, in high school, I was more into run blocking because we ran the ball probably 85% of the time. But I actually had broke my fib and tibia in high school, and that just during the run play. So my mindset changed a little bit. I appreciated pass blocking just a little bit more. So ECU and then their style of play, it was a match made in heaven for me. So I really appreciated how much we threw the ball. Of course, I'm a dog. I'm going to try to run you over when it came to the run game, but pass blocking was my forte. I believe during those 2 years, I probably gave up 3 or 4 sacks in 2 years. So that's pretty good, especially how much we threw the ball.
Quincy, question on that offense. I was always curious. How hard was it to kind of transition to be, more of a pass blocking lineman? How hard was that transition? And then also when we had to run the ball, was it hard to kind of transition back into a running like offensive line where you're pounding the rock, or did it matter just because that style is so much different than a normal, pounding the ball offense?
Yeah. Well, it was different for both years. When I was my first year, when I was with Jones, he actually had us in a 2-point stance, and he just wanted us comfortable. So whatever kind of stance it was, that's what you were going to be in. And then when I was with Davis, he actually made us the guards. We had to be in 3-point stances. So he just wanted more consistency. Like I told you, Davis wanted it how he wanted it. Jones just wanted the job done. So that's a little insight in how just like that. The mindset, no, we knew where we were. So we're gonna pass the ball majority of the time. But then when it came to run blocking, we just had to get it. I can't speak on my other guys, but I knew if we're running the ball, we know we gotta get these certain amount of yards. because our meat and potatoes was passing. But if we're running the ball, we're either trying to surprise the opponent or get these last 2 yards to get that first down or touchdown. So it wasn't too much for me. I was just going back to my high school days because, like I told you, I had Crowell, and that's all we did was run the ball and the spread. So it just went back to my high school days.
And Quincy, in 2014, yeah, the Pirates, we threw the ball extremely well. That goes without saying. But the running game that year, we had a nice stable of backs, like Breon Allen, Chris Hairston, Marquez Grayson. Anthony Scott was a freshman that year and did some nice things. So just talk about the ground attack, because it certainly accomplished a lot as well. And Breon had close to 900 yards and really had a nice day, a field day against the Tar Heels.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's a day I'll never forget, man. I promise you. I could never. But when it came to the running game, Riley, he just had all types of ways of running it. We were good at draws. When it came to pulling guards, I kid you not, I always pulled. Because we had the same play to the left and to the right. If you go back and look at the film, you always see me pull about 80% of the time. That was our meat and potatoes, I would say, was the draws, because we were trying to act like we're passing it and then hand it off. And Breon was our leading rusher. You know, he was a smaller back. So he's like, he'll be in the pile. Next thing you know, he just pops out and going for 60. So it was kind of hard to find him. But all our running backs had their own different unique styles and body types. So we could hit them different ways. And I know it was difficult for the defense because Breon had the hands. Chris Harrison could catch really well. But then if we wanted to get some up the middle kind of things, we'll put Grayson in. And then Scott, he would do the same. He had all three. He could do all three pretty well. So we definitely had different wide ranges of backs, and that made our offense just more versatile.
Talk about the chemistry and the relationships, camaraderie within not only the team itself, but specifically within the offensive line room. I know tonight we're catching up at 8 p.m. Right here on YouTube and Facebook Live with JT Boyd, who played for the Pirates from 2012 to 2016 and was obviously in that room for 2 years as well. So talk about not only JT, but the other guys that you were playing with.
When it comes to O-line, well, first, when we do workouts and meetings, you're always with your position group. That's all schools. You're always with your position group. But at ECU, I felt like we were a legit brotherhood. We always hung out. So my roommates, all my roommates were O-linemen. So I lived with them. Then we would go to practices and everything together. I really didn't hang out as much outside of football with other positions as much. I was always with the O-line. Those were my brothers. JT, you're gonna have a ball with him tonight. That's a character on top of characters. He always keep you entertained. He always has something smart to say. Jones hated him but loved him at the same time because he always had something smart to say. That's a great guy. I really appreciate him. I might actually hit him up today when you got me thinking about him. But we knew we were unique. We were always the big guys. So everything was just different about us. Our whole energy was different. And plus we had to protect our guy, our moneymaker back there. So we knew it was just, we had to stick together, and any little activity we could do, we were doing it. And our biggest thing we would do is O-line. Then all the other guys started trickulating doing it too. But we would go to Timeout. Is it Timeout? It was a place in town. They did tiebreakers. There we go. Tiebreakers. We would go and get, I think, half off wings or something. All you can eat wings or something on Thursdays before Friday, and we had to go to the hotel. All the O-linemen after practice will go straight over there and just eat for 2 hours, just wings. And then all the other guys, they heard about it, started coming over and stealing our.
Hey, now Quincy, as far as the all-you-can-eat wings, I got kind of a funny story that I'm gonna lead into. But did you guys ever get cut off by chance?
They definitely shorted us. They started shorting us after about the 5th or 6th little box. It started off with like 10, and then it got down to like 4. I'm like, hey man, come on, we still here. We're still here, man.
And besides the obvious, with you guys being large men, the reason I asked that is because a good family friend of ours, I'll leave his name out. I won't incriminate him, but he and some of his teammates back during the Sonny Randall years in the early to mid 70s, they went to Parker's Barbecue, and they got cut off. They said, this table gets no more barbecue. They can have all the breadsticks and sweet tea they want, but no barbecue, no potatoes, etc.
That's tough. They must have been really eating good. Real, but no, I didn't get cut off any of the times, but we got less and less every time though.
Hey, who ate the most wings? Did y'all ever keep track? What's the most wings one of you guys put down?
I remember I threw back about 45 of them.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I was grubbing, and during those times, man, I couldn't do that now at all. But during those times, we worked out every day. We literally were running and lifting every single day. So when it came to eating, it was like, we'll work it off. It didn't matter. So it was just whatever we wanted to eat at the time. It was just, I was down for it.
Do you like the little drumsticks, or are you a flat guy?
Hey, both. But if I had to pick, drumstick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, just a hot wing or honey barbecue? What are you eating?
I'm very versatile. I like to try all of them. I literally have to try all of them. They even had a Old Bay flavor. I was like, why not? Sure, it's for seafood, but I'll try it on the wing.
I can see that working, actually, the Old Bay flavor on the wing. I can see it working if it's done right.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I had a feeling you guys may not discriminate. We'll have to bring that up tonight with JP Boyd. Ask him about the wing night for tiebreakers. But
yeah, go ahead. You know about it.
Yeah. So going into that 2015 season, we talked about the transition in the offensive line room, going from Coach Brandon Jones to Brad Davis. You obviously also had a new offensive coordinator going from Lincoln Riley, who moved on to Oklahoma after turning down offers from several other programs, including North Carolina. But so just talk about that, going from Coach Riley to Coach Brad Nichols. Brad Nichols. Dave Nichols.
Dave Nichols, yeah. That was a big turnover year. It was kind of crazy. And also to piggyback on that, a new quarterback.
Then he got hurt.
And then he got hurt. And then the new running back because Breon left. So it was the whole turnover that year was tough, and that reflected on our schedule, on our record actually. We had Kurt Benkert. It was during summer camp and probably one of our last practices, and he rolls out just to finish out his play, and next thing you know, he just drops. Nobody was around him or anything, and we're like, oh no, you feel me? Like this is our QB. And then next thing you know, I think it was his ACL or so, and he just dropped. So now we're trying to figure out. We got Blake Kemp. He came in with me the year before from a JUCO also, and then we had James Summers, which he was playing quarterback, but then he was running routes, and he was a running back also. So we had a wild card at quarterback also. Switching from Raleigh to Dave. It was the same kind of stuff. Of course, he had his own philosophy, but it was definitely the same kind of offense. We didn't change our plays too much. But he did his job. He did his best. I wish some of the plays, I'm not trying to throw dirt on anybody's name, but I wish some of the plays that during certain times are changed because it wasn't ideal for us. And then that definitely showed on in the game situations and stuff. Davis, he definitely we were more prepared, I would say. compared to maybe the year before, just a little more. Because like I told you, we were looking at safeties and corners. We were just more aware of everything. We had a lot of turnover on the offensive line too. Dante Leviston got hurt like the first play of the season. He's out the whole season. He had a situation with his nerve in his shoulder. So we got a new guy at right tackle, Brandon Smith, wound up being a 3-year starter after that. So that was the beginning of his career. Then we had, I think, 3 centers next to me. The only consistency, and I can't even say myself, was the left guard. I mean, the left side. Ike was there the whole year, and then myself, but I was out a few games because I had a concussion. So the consistency on the O-line wasn't there. JT and Ike were the only consistencies on the O-line. So on top of rotating quarterback situation, it just wasn't the best for anybody.
No, you guys had so much adversity on the opposite side of the ball with losing Lincoln Riley, losing Justin Hardy, losing Shane Carden, and then you lose, like you said, Ben Kirk before the season started. They had brought in Philip Nelson with the hope that he would be able to be eligible right away, and unfortunately the NCAA said no, you have to sit out a year. So just everything that could go wrong went wrong, and you guys still, man, you had your moments. You beat Virginia Tech. You almost beat BYU. You should have beat BYU, really. You almost beat Florida, and come down to that game against Cincinnati where it comes down to a damn field goal to go to a bowl game. I actually thought, in my personal opinion, with all the adversity that the team faced, that going 5-7 and Ruffin holding the team together, I thought it was the best coaching job he had done, and then they fired him.
Yeah. That was a whole tough situation. I can't stand Cincinnati. I will not watch them on TV. We lost to my 2 years. We lost both times by a field goal. So that doesn't sit well on me. I didn't think they were a better team. They were competitive, but they were just a field goal better. So I guess they were. Speaking on Virginia Tech, I always talk trash. I'm 2-0 against Virginia Tech. The years before me, we lost, and the years after we lost. So I guess I joke around with my friends. I'm like, I'm the reason why we won, because those are the only 2 years we beat them. And then the BYU game, that was an experience I'll never forget. We normally fans, I wouldn't say they're like mean or belligerent, but like when we were there, like as you're walking from the tunnel or the locker room to the field, they're like, "We love you. Good job. Good luck." I'm like, "We love you." Like, you don't hear that from outside. Like, never. So I'm like, this is a different atmosphere. The view, once you like are coming down, you can see the mountaintop. Just like the can of beer, and it has the mountains on it. That's exactly what it looks like as you're walking over. I'm like, this is a beautiful place. And that was probably the strongest team I ever played against too, like in my life. I don't know if they're lifting over. They might be lifting those mountains. I don't know. They're very strong, man. Like
they're all about 28. I mean,
yeah, I know. They definitely were older. I was looking at their bio. They had legit guys like 26, 27, and I'm like, I'm 21, 22. Like, what y'all doing? Like,
they're old. There's some of their players are older than us.
Yeah, they are. That is crazy. So
they've been on those their Mormon missions.
Yeah, they go on those mission trips, and they enroll and go on those mission trips and come back with a wife and 3 children.
And that keeps their eligibility. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah,
but
the Mormon that's a discussion for a different time. But the Mormon culture in general is very interesting.
Okay.
Taking a look at that game specifically, my parents were able to go out there for that one with some close friends of ours, loyal Pirates, and they said it was a heck of a trip, like you referenced, Quincy. Just the backdrop for LaBelle Edwards Stadium with the mountains and everything, just unbelievable. And that night, I remember us getting off to the fast start. James had the run.
Oh yeah.
And then we blocked that punt, and and a guy that I had coached in high school, Giannis Bowden, was crawling on his hands and knees and recovered it in the left corner.
That was nice. That was nice. I remember that. Yeah, that game was, like I said, that whole, just everything that night was awesome. I love night games, of course. Who doesn't? The lights, the atmosphere, just seems like everything's enhanced when it's played at night. I swore we were about to put a whooping on them, but like I said, they were really tough and they were really strong. So that definitely goes a long way in the football game, because that wears on you during the towards the back end of the games. They were really successful on offense, and we were too, but they just got the best of us in that last drive or two. So
yeah, their quarterback, we knocked their quarterback out, and they put him back in to
and he was
go on
limping
that
too,
last
right?
drive. And you know, I remember on the message boards, he was like really banged up, and I remember on the message boards reading that did Rick Smith, did Ruffin tell Rick Smith not to bring much pressure on that kid? Because I was like, nah, that's just Rick's style to drop back into coverage and not let anything big up. But it was amazing to me that kid was injured, and I mean, I don't remember, Bub, I don't know if you remember exactly what the injury was, but he was hurt bad and came back here for that one last drive, and
He was like limping, like Byron Leftwich style.
yeah, exactly. And came in on that last drive and led him to the field goal. And had he not been able to come back in, that backup, he was scared to death. We'd have won that game.
Yeah, that was a tough situation, man. A lot of heartbreaks. And then right before that, we had the game in Florida, and we had them until the end. It was a lot of heartbreaks that year.
The guy you were thinking of, Kyle, was Tanner Mangum.
Yes, Tanner. Yep. And we did. He was the quarterback when they came in here in 2016, and for whatever reason, had the worst offense in America that year.
Yeah, their offense in that season was absolutely atrocious.
Yep. Or 17. I'm sorry. 2 years later. Two years later. Just shows you what a difference coaching can make. No more Bronco Mendenhall, and suddenly same quarterback. Offense goes from dropping 50 a game to having the worst offense in America.
Yeah, coaching definitely makes a huge difference, just in your mindset too.
So Quincy, we already discussed that 2015 season. We came up just shy of a bowl, unfortunately. So talk about life after East Carolina. I know did you have an opportunity to continue playing some more football, and then what you're up to now? Because I know you moved recently from Greenville to Greensboro.
Yes, sir. It was kind of rough after I finished playing. I actually had a daughter almost a year after that. So I wound up getting married. I met my wife in college at NC State. Hence, that's why I was struggling a lot at NC State, because I just met the love of my life. So, but I bounced around a little bit when it came to jobs. I didn't want to play football anymore. That was the one thing that I knew I didn't want to do. My body just was telling me otherwise. I had actually a situation in my lower back that I couldn't even squat anymore. So towards the end of the half of the 2015 season, I didn't even lift lower body because of my back. I had to stretch way more than everyone else to keep it loose, but that's a chronic issue that I have. So I knew I couldn't continue on playing football. I did intern with Coach Mo for a couple months when I was still in classes. So that was interesting to see the turnover. Again, I feel like I'm also a coach killer. I was there for O'Brien's last year, and then I was there for Ruff's last year. So, but I was there for that turnover. I had a few different jobs. Lived in Raleigh for 2 years after I left Greenville in 2016, and then moved back to Greenville because my wife actually she just got her master's at ECU. So I got to come back and be in the greatest town in America. And then we recently moved to Greensboro about 2 weeks ago. This is my I'm a teacher now. This is my second year as a PE teacher, so I get to put a whooping on the kids in the classroom. But that's what I'm doing now.
How do you and Bubba, I can ask you the same thing. How do you guys virtually teach PE?
Man, this Bubba, you want to go first?
You just have to do your best to get creative, Kyle. I mean, there are obviously a lot of things that you would typically do that you can't do, but it's obviously more it's strictly individual based for the most part. I mean, you can try to do stuff. I know different ones, whether it's like a virtual game of horse for those students that have a basketball goal or something like that. I mean, so you have a little interaction between them. But then otherwise, I mean, you can do different workouts as far as your body weight exercises. I mean, if you're willing to put yourself out there, and if you can dance a little bit, obviously you could do something like that. I'm not sure how much of that Quincy and I are doing, but I'm sure there are some female PE teachers and maybe some guy PE teachers that do that. But I certainly don't have any moves to teach the kids. What about you, Quincy?
That's actually a good idea. I'm doing elementary school now. This is my first year at elementary, on the elementary level. So I know my creativity is gonna have to boost up twice as much. I'm definitely gonna dance for the kids. They're gonna see their teacher dance. But I actually was at an alternative school last year, so that was 6th through 12th grade. So I had a wide range of kids that I had to teach. A lot of your creativity level has to boost because it's tough. It's not like we have a book and we be like, here's the book and here's the answer. That's not for PE. You're trying to show them different ways to be physically active and keep their attention. Like you said, body weight exercises. That's what I did a lot. And I had the kids like either record themselves or send a picture of the whatever equipment they were using. So I had like dumbbells, but then I told them if you didn't have dumbbells, then get a gallon of milk or detergent, something that has some weight. But it's tasking. And then I don't know about you, Bubba, but I had daily Zoom meetings with my staff, literally every day. And it got really tasking, and that's something that we have to adapt to because we are virtual now.
Yeah, definitely a lot of Zoom meetings. And like I'm trying to remember if it was Court Shankweiler or one of our guests we had on recently said, yeah, we should have definitely bought some stock in Zoom back in February or March. But
stock would be loaded.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of the same things that you mentioned. I had students sending in pictures or short video clips through Google Drive of them riding their bike or shooting basketball or doing whatever activities, and I'd have a daily fitness log. And I'm sure there were plenty of kids that just filled it out and didn't actually do anything, but trying to kind of put the ball in their court and positively put some pressure on them, if you will, to be active on a consistent basis. And hey, I told him, I said, you know whether you did anything or not. I said, so when you fill this out, just know that you're the only one that knows. But
your body will know, not me.
You did yourself good, or you didn't. That's the bottom line.
I got something for you guys. What I'll do for you, what I'll do for both of you, okay? I'm going to take a full body picture and you just show that to your kids.
Should I cut this off?
This is what will happen if you don't exercise.
Come on now.
Motivation right there.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead now. Body by Jay.
It's the opposite, Bubba. It's the opposite, Bubba. If you don't do this is what will happen.
This is what it'll look like.
Kyle, you look great.
Well, thank you, Jay. Thank you very much.
Quincy and Bubba are laughing at us or laughing at you. I don't even have my video up because I don't know if you knew this or not, but I fell walking So I can't even dance right now because I tore ligaments in my ankle.
Oh,
And I'm on the crutches. What'd you say?
I said, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah. No, thanks. I actually tore it when I was playing. So I tore it, in a game. And then about a month ago, I was just walking and I tripped. So I'm on crutches right now. So I can't dance. I can't dance right now.
Jay actually uses a walker to get around everywhere.
Yeah, I'm on the little scooters.
Those scooters, you put your one leg on.
Yeah.
Hey, now Quincy, just so you know, Jay played for the Pirates back in the Skip Holtz era. He also played a little bit for Coach Thompson, but transferred in there in 2004 and played through 2007. So he was part of laying the foundation for those Conference USA championships in 08 and 09. And as you see now on the screen with his avatar, he is a ESPN college football analyst and does a little basketball as well.
Okay. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, you too. No, you've been awesome, and it's fun watching you play here a couple years ago. So, what's the biggest thing that you missed from being at ECU?
I always compare my time in Raleigh to my time in Greenville. Raleigh, as we know, is the capital, and they're not worried as much as about state and just the sports in general. So you didn't get that community support like I did in Greenville. Just anywhere, it'd be like, "Oh, you play football? How you doing?" And people, just strangers, come up and talk to you. You feel like a celebrity. I missed that part a little bit because it was just you get the love in the community. That's what I miss, definitely. The fact that I'm even talking to you guys, I feel like if I was at state, this wouldn't be happening. I really appreciate this, just the support and the love that everyone just shows the program. No matter on the good years or bad years, you still get that love and support.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Quincy, as we start to wrap this up, you've been very generous with your time this morning and bearing with us through our Wi-Fi issues.
Yeah, of course.
But Pirates getting camp underway today. They're actually in the heart of practice right now. It's supposed to be finished about 11:45. So talk about from a former player's perspective, can you imagine going through what those guys are going through? Of course, they missed a ton of time, but they've been back on campus for a few weeks now, most of them, and going through everything, not knowing whether there's going to be a season or not.
Yeah. Just like everybody, everything's inconsistent. You don't know what the next day brings. I couldn't imagine that as a player because I know all my workouts used to be at 6:15 in the morning. So imagine you waking up thinking you're about to go work out and they were like, no, because of something. Somebody got the virus or so. That's just mentally you want to stay sharp and you want to be ready for everything. Secondly, I couldn't imagine working out with the mask. I can't. When I go to the grocery store, I'm like, I need to get this thing off. So I can't imagine them actually trying to run around with those on. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, they about 50 colleges had invested in them a couple weeks back. I don't know if we got updated numbers on that, but somebody have actually came up with a full face mask to go with the helmets, to like face shields that are more protective than a traditional eye face shield. They go over the full mouth and nose
all the way down.
Yeah, so I don't know if East Carolina has invested in those or not, but I think it would be something every college should invest in, and would be a lot easier to breathe in than those masks.
But even when you had the normal visor face shield, it makes it harder to breathe. So I can imagine if it's all the way down, boy, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in 8 spots right now. But I hope that football goes as planned as everybody's setting up for. I know it's different aspects that we're changing in less games and conference or non-conference, but I really hope that everything just goes to plan because I don't want to go another fall without football or a fall without football. I'm not coaching this year because of COVID and me moving and all that. It's just too much. I'll come back around next fall, but I need some football on TV, man. That's the truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you're saying, Quincy, 95 degrees and that 110 real field heat index in Eastern North Carolina, like it is this time of year. It's not going to go too well with the face mask, but
no. And on that first practice field, it makes it even worse. That's another 5 to 10, for sure.
Yeah, I've worked some baseball games here in the greater Charlotte area, the Southern Collegiate Baseball League, and actually had more players in this league this year and more talented players because of Cape Cod and other wooden bat leagues around the country closing down. But the turf field that we play on this year in Mount Island Charter School, just some of these days, like you're saying, you can just see that heat coming off the turf.
Feet cooking, man. Smell like popcorn out there.
Absolutely. Quincy, we certainly appreciate your time this morning, being so generous. I'm going to look forward to and enjoy that chat with JT Boyd tonight. Hopefully you'll be able to check it out, if not live, then go back and watch it on the YouTube channel or right here on Facebook. But thanks so much again, and we'd love to have you back on the show in the future and talk about your coaching endeavors.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all very much.
Thank you.
I said thank you. I know he just got off, but tell him I said thank you.
Absolutely. Take care.
Will do. Thank you.
Jay, you still there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
All right. As we're wrapping up another episode of 50 Pirates in 50 Days, again, number 24 tonight, doubling up today, former teammate of Quincy McKinney, JT Boyd will be joining us. JT played on the offensive line for the Pirates from 2012 to 2016. Last night, we caught up with longtime East Carolina athletics administrator who retired at the end of 2018, Lee Workman. Lee was with ECU from 1984 to 2018. So really had an excellent conversation on a number of topics with Lee. He saw so much, during his 3.5 decades with the Pirates. And there's really so much more that we could have talked about, and we certainly look forward to having him back later on to discuss those things. All these interviews, whether it's the 50 Pirates in 50 Days or, like I mentioned, the Lee Workman interview and our other podcast, are archived right here on Facebook, as well as our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. That way, when we post new content, you are alerted on your phone or device that new content has been released. But for Jay Sunhalter, former Pirate tight end and ESPN analyst, I'm Bubba Rosenbaum, and you've been watching Sports Objective Podcast on Facebook Live as well as YouTube. Go Pirates!